Reporting live. Written by Ink in My Heart and on the Page, and read for you by Eleanor Elizabeth. Summary. Having tuned out their presence, Tony forgot that the media often follows him looking for a scoop. Unfortunately, they found one. We are outside of Midtown High School of Science and Technology, where local student Peter Parker, the heir to Stark Industries, attends. Tony Stark made the announcement moments ago to one of our journalists. It's unclear as to the relationship between Stark and Parker, but it has been speculated that Parker is Stark's biological son. The reporter turned at the movement behind her before whipping round to face the camera once more. This is the first glimpse of Peter Parker, the heir to Stark Industries. Peter, over here. How does it feel being the heir to one of the most famous companies in the world? Voices started shouting over one another rapidly. How long have you known that Tony Stark is your father? When will you take over the company, and what changes will you be implementing? Do you feel you can live up to the Stark reputation? Peter, is it true that you've been seeing singer Taylor Swift? On camera, Peter's surprised face filled the screen. His eyes flickered back and forth as everyone shouted at him, camera flashes lighting up his face, highlighting the confusion and fear he was trying to hide. Tony hit pause on the screen, not wanting to watch what happened next. He had already watched Peter get knocked to the ground by the vultures that had surrounded him at his school, watched as his friends shoved the reporters back and tried to help Peter to his feet. Tony slumped in his chair, closed his eyes, and pinched the bridge of his nose. Peter wasn't supposed to find out this way. Tony had a plan. It was a great plan. It involved a long weekend, a heart-to-heart chat, where Tony laid out his feelings on the table, how he viewed Peter as a son, and how he was one of the best things that had happened to Tony. That one day, Stark Industries would be his, and that he had every faith that Peter would lead the company into the future with grace and honour. Instead, Tony had forgotten that reporters routinely followed him. They had been following him for years, and Tony had learned to tune them out at a very young age. And so they had overheard a private conversation with Rhodey about making Peter his heir. He had been so stupid. He never should have spoken about this outside of his lab. Mr. Stark? Tony's eyes snapped open, and he whirled round in his seat. His eyes automatically found Peter in the doorway, his face and posture hesitant. Tony hadn't been there when Peter arrived at the tower, too busy with Pepper calling an emergency press conference and preparing lawsuits for all the journalists who thought ambushing a teenager outside his high school was a good idea. Thankfully, Happy had been there to pick the kid up from school and managed to get Peter away from the crowd of vultures before they did any more damage to his kid. Pete. Tony climbed to his feet. Kid, I'm so sorry. It's okay. Peter cautiously stepped into the room. I mean, it wasn't your fault. Those reporters kept going on about you announcing me as your heir and stuff. It was a mistake, right? No, they were right about that, Tony said. Kid, I'm so sorry that they ambushed you at school. I never meant for you to find out this way. Wait, what? Peter frowned. His eyes widened comically. They weren't lying. I'm your heir. It wasn't supposed to go this way. Tony moved closer to Peter, trying not to spook the teenager. I'm so sorry, Underoos. Peter held his hands up, and Tony paused in his approach. You're really making me your heir? Peter asked, his voice controlled and devoid of any emotion. Tony swallowed and nodded. Peter blinked. Holy crap! Then he was darting forward faster than Tony could comprehend and was hugging him tightly. Tony grunted as Peter slammed into him but hugged him back tightly. Tony's heart skipped a beat as he realised the implications of the hug and tightened his arms around Peter. He reluctantly let go of Peter when his kid stepped back. He didn't go far, just enough so he could see Tony's face. Why me? Peter asked. Because there's no one I trust more, Tony said honestly. Peter's mouth opened and closed several times, and Tony would have found it hilarious if the moment hadn't been so serious, as he stared at Tony. Finally, Peter swallowed audibly and straightened his shoulders. I trust you too. I won't let you down. I know you won't, Tony smiled. Are you sure you want me to take over the company? Peter asked. I only just turned 16. Tony chuckled. I don't plan on retiring for a while, kid, so you won't take over till you're ready. If you even want to take over. There will be no hard feelings if you don't. I want to continue your legacy, Peter rushed out. Tony's grin spread wider. That's great to hear, kiddo. He flicked his eyes over to Peter, his smile fading. How are you feeling? Did those reporters hurt you at all? Nothing that hasn't already healed. Peter brushed off Tony's concern. Tony growled under his breath. Are they going to keep following me? Peter asked. No, Tony assured Peter. Pepper's on it. Half the media outlets are being sued and issued restraining orders. You won't have to worry about them anymore. Wicked, Peter said. although you might have to worry about Aunt May. Tony flinched. He would never admit it to anyone, but he was scared of May Parker and was not looking forward to the impending lecture that was going to come his way. Squaring his shoulders, he cleared his throat. Tony gestured to the door. "Let's get this over with." "Good luck," Peter grinned. Tony scowled, his lips twitching into a smile as he shook his head. Time to face the music. Hi, hey, hello, I know, I'm talking again. I won't make a habit of it, but just wanted to add a couple of notes on the end of this. One, sorry, this is a bit all over the place. It is 1 a.m. I have just recorded this in one sitting, because 300 subscribers today, which, very exciting. Number 300. You know who you are. Thanks for your nice comments. It made me really smile. But also because I purchased a mic, and this will be the first one going up on said mic. So please let me know if it sounds better. Hopefully it does. Hopefully you've noticed an uptick in quality. I don't know if it's true. I mean, to me it sounds better. Let me know if you do think it sounds better, or if I should maybe go back to just the old one before. But thank you for listening, and thank you for subscribing and commenting and liking and just being really nice. I know that I'm still very new in the whole podficking space, but I've been having a really great time, and I just really appreciate all of the support that I've been having in this. So thanks.